Alright, we back on gaming. You know what? This week is just very disappointing. I say very disappointing due to the fact that y'all should know exactly how this is going to go. I say this due to the fact that you and I both know that this community has a lot of problems. And it seems like this week, nobody wants to deal with any of the problems. No one wants to share any responsibility, should I say, with any of the problems that we've seen. So, I guess we should get started first on the media. Because, of course, as usual, media, industry, community, it's all, you see all of it, you see all the bad, and for some reason, none of it gets corrected. Because people are stupid, that's why. Because they don't want anything fixed. I don't understand it. How do you say you love this community and don't want anything fixed is beyond me. But, okay, let's get started with the gaming media. Now, for those who don't know, Sam Chris, that's right, that's who we're starting off with. Gaming journalist, or should I say, media contributor over at Vice, Sam Chris, as you know, he's very anti-Gamergate, was quick to virtue signal, was quick to call other people misogynists, harassment, pigs, blah, blah, blah. Well, now we found out that he's out there apologizing to sexual assault victims that he has assaulted. That's right. The allegations of sexual harassment and assault to a specific person, he's admitted now that he's apologizing for it. Now, here's the thing, all right? Because Platinum Paragon pointed this out before I got a chance to finish reading his statement, okay, on Twitter. It was very disappointing to see the ego of this man. And I say this dude, I shouldn't even call him a man, all right? Little boy, all right? Seeing how he tried to say at one point, it's inexcusable what he has done, but then turn around in the beginning of the second paragraph and says, it's actually excusable. That's what look at this real quick. So let me get this straight. You sit here and say it's inexcusable for what you did, and then right after say, well, let me make an excuse. How about no? How about you just own up to what you did, and that's it? And as far as I'm concerned, you should be gone. Now, I put it like this, all right? I've noticed that, and you're going to hear me say this a lot, between today when it comes with companies, and like I said, and with the game media as well, okay? Why does it take until you're caught that now you want to fess up to something? Why does it take that? You've gotten away with this for a long time, and I say this due to the fact that, for those who don't know, we have seen this in a string of months, maybe years or whatever. All these journalists come out and say something about gamers, about how you're a misogynist and all this other crap, and then you find out, they're sexual harassers, they're sexual, they're rapists pretty much because they've sexually assaulted women. Some of them are pedophiles. I mean, we find out so much about these people. I'm wondering when the other side is going to come out, or the other side of the fence, is going to come out and say, you know what, there's a lot of people that supported us that were very disgusting individuals, and we did not know. We should have did some background checking. And we still don't hear that. Instead, what we hear is people double down, or they just go to the Winchester until it all blows over. And it's absolutely ridiculous that people would just vanish like that. You can't tell me that your ego is so large because you want to be on the right side of history that this is something that you're just going to ignore. You can't ignore this. You can't. There's a track. You look at the history now. There's a big track record of this happening. And no, it's unacceptable. I don't understand how people haven't lost their job yet. I'm still trying to figure this out. I understand some people resign. Oh, they resign. You resigned because you knew that you were going to lose your job. Some of them were going to. But some of them resigned beforehand. All right? But then they tried to make a comeback. Yeah, it was Deborah Rossi trying to make a comeback. And then they left again. So it goes to show you that you shouldn't give them a free pass. You shouldn't, forget what they've done. And I don't understand how we still have not heard any apologies. Any. Like I said, it's only when you get caught. And when you get caught and then you decide to apologize, that's not a sincere apology. You know what you've been doing. You know it for years. Okay? What I'm saying is not just for the act that you're doing, but those you've also offended or accused others of doing themselves. Why haven't you apologized to those people? That's what I'm wondering. So, you're a misogynist, you're a harasser, you're a rapist, but I did all those things really. They haven't, and I'm not going to owe them an apology. That ego is so, it's disruptive. It's more than disruptive, all right? It's dysfunctional. It is. So, as far as I'm concerned, game journalists, once again, you just keep shooting yourselves in the foot with this type of stuff. If you know you've done this type of stuff, and like I said, you can't just be all, white knight, stick your chest out, I'm going to defend this woman. First off, you don't even know these women. Why are you defending people you don't know anyway? All right? I don't understand that. You're just going to take their word for everything it is, and that's what we're seeing now. So I put it this. If any of these women come out and say, well, this journalist sexually harassed me. Now you put yourself in a box and you say, well, I guess I can't defend it because, you should just believe all women. Listen and believe, right? That's what we're at, right? So, yeah. And that's why we say it's absolute crap, because you need to have some proof when you do something like that. You just can't make allegations. You can't do that. But we're seeing that a lot now. So, like I said, it's one of those things where it's a slippery slope for gaming journalists, but as a collective, because remember, that's what they've done. As a collective, we saw the Game Journal Pro stuff. We see the way they're doing things. As a collective, you have decided to dogpile on gamers, simply and make all these allegations without any proof. Mind you, FBI checked out Gamergate and there was nothing to be found. But you've made all these allegations, and then you find out that these people making allegations have jail history, track records of this type of stuff. So it's absolutely hypocritical, contradictory, disgusting. There's a number of things you can call it. All right, but I'm waiting. I guess it should be waiting. I'll be holding my breath if I sit and wait, right? For these outlets to say, you know what? Yeah, we had this guy on staff at one point, and you know what? He doesn't deserve any credibility, anything. Just erase it, strike it from the record altogether. Like I said, it's one of those things where it's a stain on your record as a company. We've talked about this before, about responsibility, where if you're hired by a company, doesn't matter what job you do, you represent said company. If you go out and start doing drugs, start punching people in the face out of nowhere, and start acting like a fool, guess what? Your job's going to fire you because you represent them. You are an investment to them. And I'm waiting for these sites to do that as well. And they haven't. Just saying, they haven't. So, looking for Vice's word on this. We'll see what happens. But let's move on. Because I'm not trying to hear freelance journalists, blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to hear that. Let's talk about Shadow of War, Middle Earth, shall we? Now look, as you know, Shadow of War, Middle Earth, Denuvo, DRM has been cracked in under a day. Under a day. That's right. Now, we also saw this with Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Denuvo, security was cracked, 6 days afterwards? So, what's the point of this? I'm just trying to figure this out. What's the point? Because obviously this security is not working. And it's being cracked very easily. It's the point. Anyways, let's move on. Shadow of War still. Let's talk about loot boxes. Now, look, we know that a lot of people are upset with the loot box thing, and it seems like this is the new thing to do now, okay? And I put like this, I guess, because people are seeing Activision, and they're saying, well, Overwatch needed loot boxes. For those who had not played PC games ever, and like I said, you're just a console player, PC games and PC gamers have had to deal with loot boxes for years, okay? And not a lot of console games have had them in the past, all right? So, now that we have loot boxes coming to the console market, people are upset. And you know what? You should be upset. You should be. Because if you look at the track record between all these other companies, and I've told you this before how it was going to go. If you go back, you had your online passes, your microtransactions, your DLC, your season passes. Now they're hitting you with loot boxes. They're trying to find a way to get you to spend more money by staying on their networks. That's what they're doing. So get rid of your arcades. Some of them, as you know, got rid of LAN play, and now you're on their networks, and we're going to get into this in a bit, all right? I'm going to save that for a bit, all right? But these loot boxes, the Shadow of War, it seems like, for what I've heard, the ending is hidden behind loot boxes. Now, I don't know how much that's true or not, because for some reason, people are saying it's true, other people are saying it's false. We've seen other people say that you can't, finish this game without doing the loot boxes. It's absolutely mandatory. And then I believe Oliver Campbell came out not too long ago and ran through Shadow of War without loot boxes, I believe. So, obviously, that's false. It's one of those things where it depends on the level of gamer you are, but they are in the game. We have seen this before as well with loot boxes. As we know, Ubisoft has done this from time to time when it comes to their microtransactions. It's one of those things that they're really trying to implement now to get you to get your money. But there's more. Now, let's talk about EA. EA. And their bullshit, since we're talking about loot boxes, all right? Because for those who don't know, Star Wars, all right, we know, the reboot, the Star Wars Battlefront, as you know, they're having these loot boxes or whatever, but EA knows that they're going to do this the same way they do everyone else. They're just following the path. If you haven't realized, every time some company takes a leap, it's monkey see, monkey do. So every company follows along. Usually they wait for EA to do it, if you haven't realized that. Usually they wait for EA to do it, but now, it's a little bit different. So now everyone's getting into the loot box game. So, with that said, as we know, EA just not too long ago decided to shut down Visceral Games. Now, EA. Remember, this is the same EA that all these companies that are, that are acquired by EA have said, EA is a great place to work. It's great. They're great. They're friendly. I just want to know, how many companies has EA buried since they've acquired a lot of companies? They suck them up, and then they use them, they spit them out, and they're done. There's got to be about, 6 companies, 8 companies that have shut down under EA's watch. We know this, okay? So, you've got to be kidding me that EA, again, stopped buying up companies. Once again, this brings back the old tale of EA trying to monopolize the market and consume companies for their, for their being, so they can get bigger, and then it hasn't worked out in years for them. It just hasn't, It may work out year 1, but after that, train derails. Derails every time. So let me get this straight. The Dead Space developers, all right, because as you know, Dead Space, EA gave them about, $60 million? Dead Space, as a franchise and all, it was less, Dead Space, I believe it was they sold 4 million units, something like that? You gotta think, the market that for Dead Space is, not the last Dead Space, I believe that's the franchise overall, I believe, isn't it? But whatever, 4 million units, and EA says that that's not, maybe that was the last one. EA says that it's not enough. That's right. So now selling 4 million units isn't enough. So what is enough then? Now look, I'll put it like this. I know you're saying $60 million is a lot of money. Yeah, it is. It's a lot of money for a game. We've talked about this before when they did Medal of Honor. Remember, they threw $100+ million at Medal of Honor. A lot of that went to advertising. Remember that. All right? Not the actual game. And we saw all the problems with the game. Remember, when YouTubers were complaining about the game and the glitches and the bugs in Medal of Honor, what did EA do at the time? Remember, this is back when Medal of Honor started getting big again. What did they do at the time? They struck them down. They silenced them. They didn't want them to show the videos. Remember, EA was a big watchdog at one point, and it seems like a lot of people tend to forget that with EA. This is another reason why EA, a lot of people don't like you. We can always talk about the Dragon's Age, issue, what you did with online with that, and shutting people down with their data. But yeah, EA has been in a lot of shit over the years. Like I said, since about 2009 on, they have been nothing but it's like a zombie. It's a walking corpse. It's just brainless, and they just keep going. And for some reason, people still support it. I don't know why. But you shut down Visceral Games. All right, what is it? Miss Hennings, we don't know what's going to happen with her now. Apparently, they're in talks with her because, remember, she was doing, I believe, a Star Wars game. So we don't know what's going on with that. But they said, the rep said that they are in talks with her to see what she's going to do in the future. Because I guess they want to, link up. They feel bad, I guess, for doing that. But they shut down the company. You didn't need to shut down the company. You didn't need to. But maybe if you didn't give them $60 million for a game, this wouldn't be a problem. We'll talk about budget later, okay? Because a lot of you, I know a lot of you people, and here's the thing. You get consumed with graphics and everything, but that's because you were sold on the hard sell. Remember that. Remember, everything has to be pretty, has to be shiny, has to be rammed up to the roof, and you're still getting, these days, all right, these games are supposed to come out for the PS4 or whatever. Remember, because the developers, that's right, the publishers push for higher hardware, which is why you're getting annual consoles now. Remember, you're still getting at times 30 frames per second for a game. Next gen, no. Or should I say current gen. But 30 frames per second for games. Like, come on, stop. Everyone pushed for better hardware because you want to shiny new graphics, which means that the companies have to spend more on software. And then when the games flop, this is what happens to companies. So, the community, it's partially your fault for buying into the bullshit. Believing that the shiny hardware and all the specs and all that. It's the publishers and developers' fault for pushing it to this point. Remember, the PS3 was never maxed out. The Xbox 360 was never maxed out. The Xbox, remember, and you say, that's a lie. No, it was. It really wasn't. It wasn't. All right? How many people actually took the time to figure out the power of the cell? We didn't remember. When you got companies who actually took their time, you saw what Uncharted did. You saw what they did with it, what Naughty Dog did with Uncharted. You saw that. But yet, when you go back and look at Uncharted, and you turn back and you look at Bayonetta 1. Look at Bayonetta 1. Yeah. All right, then. It goes to show you that these type of games, like, if companies take their time to max it out. Like I said, we're not even talking about the original PS4 or the Xbox One. Now we got to have the Pro, and we got to have the Xbox One X or X, whatever the hell you want to call it. And Microsoft has already said that it's not for everybody. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous how many people get played by this shit. You and I both know that you do not need all this. You don't. You don't. Alright? You don't. I understand you want pretty shiny graphics, you want to make it look realistic, and, you know, at this point the games are pretty much taking over where movies have at this point, which is why your budgets are so high. Another reason I should say why they're so high. But then you get these chip and dip games. That's what you're getting. And people say, well, where's the longevity? Oh, that's coming in DLC. That's coming in the season pass. Because it costs so damn much to make these chip and dip games because of the higher quality of it. They make it look really shiny. There's so many problems with this. And, yeah, let's just move on, shall we? Now, speaking of staying on your networks, I want to talk about this. Activision has a matchmaking patent algorithm designed to make you spend money, keeping you on the networks. And here's the thing. It's to match lower players with higher players. So when the lower players get destroyed, okay, they go and spend money to get better. So pay to win. Now, a lot of people found this out not too long ago, okay? And this is also responsibility again. A lot of people found this out not too long ago this week. And Activision was like, let us explain. No! Fuck you. No. No. You want to know why? And here's the reason why we don't want you to explain. Because, again, you didn't give a damn until you got caught. Okay? Now, this patent is from 2015, something like that. And Activision is saying that, you know, well, we haven't implemented it. First off, I don't believe that one bit. Okay? Because we know the history. If you look at Activision's history, the way they milk consumers. Hello, Guitar Hero. Hello, Call of Duty. Hello, like, if you look at the history, okay, they will run something until the wheels fall off. That's what they do. So this algorithm, whether you feel as though that you've used it or not, guess what you just did? You just gave the blueprint to every other company that decided they want to screw over people and be non-consumer. You know what I mean? That's what you did. That's exactly what you did. Now, of course, they're not going to go through this algorithm or the actual name of the algorithm. No, they'll come up with something different now. Because you just put the brain, you know, put the brain up there, the seed up in the brain now. That's what you did. Activision or any company does something like this. I don't want to hear that this didn't happen, that you're not doing it, that you're sorry, or whatever. You had it since 2015. We're just now finding this out, and now you want to explain things. No. You've had 2 years to explain this, and you didn't. All right. You could have came out and disclosed this to everyone and said, hey, look, we're working on this. And we don't want to scare you guys, but, you know, we're thinking about it. Could have been open with us. But you didn't. No. I had to find out, so, you know, people started digging, found out. And, you know, a couple years later. And now it's let us explain. No, don't want you to explain. Don't want you to explain anything. So, again, keeping you on the networks. I tried to warn you guys and girls about this before, about, you know, them keeping you on your networks. You know, because they put so much money into their networks now. Like I said, it's amazing of the things that we have seen so far when it comes to non-social interaction, even though they mask it under the guise of being social. It's like social media. People don't know how to communicate on social media. We've seen it so many times. Let's get into this, all right? Let's move on, because we'll talk about this a bit still soon. What is it? With the fighting game community, real quick. Some news. Raiden, Lord Raiden, will be banned from the entirety of E-League Injustice 2 World Championships. That's right, even including the Last Chance qualifier. So, he will be banned, which is understandable, all right? That's understandable. Now, also, in more news, Blazblue, that's right, Cross Tag Battle announces 3 more characters. More fires to be added to the game roster later, but of course one from Ruby, others from Under Night, I believe. Something like that. I don't know. There's 3 characters, though. And like I said, they're going to add more to the roster, but there's news for you, of course, in the description field for that. Kamen Rider. Let's talk about Kamen Rider. For those who don't know, Kamen Rider, Climax Fighters has been announced. It's more of a arena brawler, more of like Naruto, but I will put the trailer, if you haven't seen it, in the description field, so, you know, you can make your own judgments if you like those type of games. Okay? Now, I need to get into this because this is what I want to talk to, really. All right? I want to talk to you about. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. I am so sick of the defense that we have seen from the fighting game community as of late. I am. I'll put it like this. I said it before. If you bought the game, you like the game, fine. You don't have to justify your purchase. You bought the game, you like the game. But I'll be damned if you're going to sit around and try to defend this garbage, all right, from what's been going on. And I say this because the bad business that's happened with this game that is infecting, again, anti-consumer, non-consumer, anti-consumer. Here we go, okay? Monster Hunter and Black Panther were ready months before Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite's release. No shit. No shit. Because the game just came out not too long ago, and the DLC is already out. It's like, wait a minute. That didn't take you that long to make that DLC. As you and I both know, okay? If you're going to make post-production DLC, it takes a while to make. You cannot tell me that all of a sudden, boom, here's DLC. No, they had it planned. And I don't care if SRK says rumor or not. You can look at the timeline, and you can tell the development process and see, look, this, no, not at all. We're also finding out that, you know, Marvel vs. Capcom was on a budget, all right, when they made this game. Now, for what I have seen as of late, people are defending this game and saying, well, the game isn't bad, even though we just saw was an article that someone was just doing a really big combo with just one button. Casual as all hell. But okay, not a problem, okay? But you sit here and say that the game isn't bad for, you know, for it being on a budget. Well, how about this then? If the game was on a budget, then they should sell it at a budget price. That's what they should do. Don't tell me that you're going to charge up the ass $60 for this game. We're going to talk more about it, all right? That's right. Because now we have, and I want to talk about this, premium skins, right? Premium skins, all right? Link will be in the description field for you because that's what they're rolling out. With this game that we know has a lot of problems, and these are from people defending this game. Yes, defending this game, saying this game needs to be, you know, cleaned up. Obviously, it has a lot of bugs. It needs to have quality assurance. And this is from people who have invested in this game. But what does Capcom do? They decide, nah, we're just going to hit you with premium skins. We're going to charge you for DLC for characters. Premium skins. The price for premium skins. Are you fucking serious? The price for this? $30 for premium skins. Look. That's nothing first, all right? Because if you look at the price of this, all right, is it $60 plus the DLC, plus the premium skins, and the stuff in the future that they're going to hit you with DLC-wise. So far, this game is going to cost you like, what, $120? $120 for a budget title, $120. That's not fixed. $120. Are you serious? If you look at all the DLC and how much it costs. So, it's almost as if, since you're invested in the game now, that you're better off buying the Season Pass. So it's an indirect strong arm to get you to buy the Season Pass. Well, if you don't want to pay for this stuff singly, you can always pay for this Season Pass, and then the Season 2 Pass, and then the Season 3 Pass, and so on, since Capcom has already told you that they're going to milk the shit out of this. But y'all okay with this? It's not that bad for a budget title. I swear to God, you cannot be this fucking stupid. Like I said, if you like the game, fine. But when you come out and say dumb shit like this, I can't take you seriously. I can't. And let's talk about these premium skins, shall we? FGC. So, you want to come out with Dante. Alright, DMC Dante, fuck you Dante. Okay, fine. When I saw it, I laughed. I actually said on Twitter, I said, I'm kind of disappointed didn't use the mod, with the big mustache and the sombrero. I was kind of disappointed that didn't make it in the game. However, I've seen a number of people on Twitter from the FGC make fun of Devil May Cry fans because they're upset. First off, who the fuck are you to try and make fun of Devil May Cry fans? This is the same fighting game community that, once again, justifies every bullshit that happens in their community. Whether it's companies milking you for DLC, or milking you for pallet swaps and all kinds of bullshit, or for their players that they love so much acting a fucking fool. So don't tell me that all of a sudden you're going to try and trying to make fun of a fan base who actually gives a damn about their characters and their franchises. Okay? If you weren't, like I said on Twitter, if you weren't around during the time of why Devil May Cry was bad, because I'm saying Devil May Cry wasn't that bad, should we get into this shit? Do you really want to get into this shit? The story wasn't bad. Yes, the fuck it was. Fake-ass knockoff They Live. We saw that shit, didn't we? Okay, but the gameplay wasn't bad. You mean the gameplay that still has glitching problems? The gameplay that they said, look, it has a ton of problems, and we're not going to fix it. And then the fan base said to you, look, no, you have to fix this if you want us to play this game. But no, we want to have our own style. And then what happened? They went back to changing it the way that gamers liked it in the definitive edition. And the definitive edition still sucked. Still. Because it was too late by then. It was too late. After everything that you did, especially when you told the fans, look, this is what you're getting, vanilla DMC. This is what you're getting. That's all you're getting. And then that video I had to put out where it said it was, when I said, look, you got to fight for it. If you really like this game, you want to fight for all these fixes, and the fans fought for it, don't sit here and fucking tell me that all of a sudden you're going to be like, ha ha ha, Devil May Cry fans, they're just trolling you. It's more than just that. It's more than that. Yeah, it's a troll, but it's more than that. It's not about fucking hair. It's not about faces. And here's the thing. Dante's face looks actually better in Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite than it does in DMC. So, it goes to show you the level of quality. It goes to show you it. Capcom actually got something right this time. But it's absolutely ridiculous. So I'll point this. If you haven't been there from the beginning of this entire fiasco with DMC, keep your fucking mouth on lock. Keep it on lock. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Now, if you like DMC, hey, whatever. Whatever. You liked it, you liked it. But the game was trash from a quality standpoint. And I'm not trying to hear, but if you look at the other DMC story, I'm not talking about that. When you're clearly ripping your story off from other Hollywood movies and trying to jumble all of them together, all right? And it's been known that they've done this because remember the big fallout that happened with Ninja Theory when Enslaved was out. If you don't know the history of this shit, don't come talk to me about it. And I don't want to see your stupid fucking remarks. I don't. And I'm not even saying it here in the comment section. I'm not saying that. No. I'm talking about the dumb, ignorant shit I'm seeing from the fighting game community when it comes to Twitter. The same community that still lets a lot of these fucking snakes into the gate, right? You still let them through the gate, though. For no one to talk about. Max, just not too long ago, talk about, well, stories in fighting games. Motherfucker, didn't you help write the story or write the story for Killer Instinct? Shut the fuck up. Like, I don't want to hear this shit. I just don't. The things that are said. Alex, just not too long ago. For those who did not see Alex on Twitter, what did he say? He was like, you should pass down your knowledge to others. And like in some type of Yoda form. But here's the problem with that. Okay? Because then, in that body of message, he's trying to say something smart. And then takes a glamorized picture, a glamorized shot of himself. So let me get this straight. Alright? And I said, this is about being real at this point. Okay? When you got something to say, you say it and you keep it moving, right? That's what you do, especially on Twitter. But instead, what did he do? He said what he said and attached a glamour photo of himself. So it was so gratifying for him as opposed to just passing down the so-called knowledge that you would pass on to others. Do you see where I have a problem with a lot of these people? Do you see it? Because if you're not seeing it, what I'm talking about, it's absolutely ridiculous that these are from adults. Adults, not kids. Not kids. Adults who still, in their age, whether they're in their late 20s, mid-20s, early 30s, late 30s, still acting like fucking children. Our community was never about, hey, look at me. Our community was never about, hey, I'm going to do whatever I need to get put on. Our community was never about being a celebrity. But here we are. And we're going to talk about that right now. Event Scrubs. That's right. For those who don't know, this is a good leading point, all right? Event Scrubs post for the FGC that they need more than winners. That's right. An article, they need more than winners. They say they need entertainers. Are you fucking serious? So here we go. Injustice 3, Frauds Among Us. That's what we got right now, okay? That's what we have. So what you're saying is you need people to be something that they're not in order for people to watch them. We've talked about this before, have we not? If you got to be something that you're not, all right, in order to get people to watch you play a video game, then you're fake as fuck. I don't even want to be around you because God knows what else you're doing, you know what I mean, just to do it. It's absolutely ridiculous that you were trying to, and I don't understand how sites can greenlight these type of articles. You are trying to make it a standard that people need to be fake. They can't be the real them. Mind you, gamers, do you remember how this all started? Because people outcasted you and said, we don't like you for who you are. We don't like your personality. We don't like anything about you. Now, if you haven't realized what these people are asking, they're asking you to conform to be something that you're not. So you're giving in to the very people who say, we don't like who you are. We don't like what you're about. We want you to be something different in order for us to watch you. Look, if that's what they're asking, then fuck them. You gonna tell me you can't be yourself? You gonna tell me you can't do it? You gotta put on an act? Are you an actor? Do you have your SAG card? No? Alright, well then I'm not trying to hear this shit. Here's the problem with all of this. You're trying to be more than what you really are. And you think that if you keep acting a specific role, because that's what it is these days, you have to live in a fantasy world, and they compare it to wrestling, so then I guess you want collusion, because that's what wrestling is. They already know the outcome before it happens. No, we just want to take bits and pieces from wrestling. We just want to take the personalities. No, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. If a person has a larger-than-life personality as they're playing a game, that's them. That's their personality. But you have to transform into something that you're not just to get people to watch you. That should tell you about that person. That should tell you something. Well, it takes more to get people to watch. No, it's that people are asking fucking too much. Or they just got lost in the sauce somewhere where they feel as though this isn't entertaining. So how many people have I argued with on Twitter about this shit? Well, you just want a bunch of golf clapping and all that. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Did no one ask y'all to be quiet during playing games? Or did no one ask y'all for that shit? Y'all always take it to that fucking extreme. Always. I don't know why. You can sit and you can watch a match and still have fun watching it. And still comment on it. And still say, look, they putting on some damn skills. You know what I mean? And be excited for it. But instead, y'all always take it to that level, don't y'all? Because it's the only thing you have. It's the only excuse. It's almost like it's parroted, regurgitated garbage. Every time. Players need to actually act like adults. Oh no, you want them to castrate themselves. That's what brings part of the community. This is what we're about. Look, like these cliff notes that you have that says this is what the fighting game community is about is bullshit. You know it and I know it. Alright? The fact is, people can have a high, intelligent match, alright? And they can do some trash talking to each other while they're playing and still make it entertaining. Don't tell me it can't be done. Without getting up, pushing each other, throwing shit, breaking controllers, and don't give me that shit. Don't give me that. Don't tell me it can't happen. Unreal. Now we need to be people that we're not. Because they're not going to accept you for you. That's the message that's being sent. And for some reason, people don't see that shit. And then you wonder why I call you fucking stupid. Unreal. Can't even be yourself these days. It's not an entertainment. Look, you're there to see the game. That's what you're there to see for. Just like when you watch basketball or you watch football, whatever, you're there to watch them play. Everything else is a bonus. So when they decide, hey, I scored a touchdown, now I'm going to do a dance in the end zone. That's what they did. You know what I mean? That's a bonus. Doesn't mean you need it, but that's a bonus. You get what I'm saying? Crazy. And they just brought that shit back. Yeah. It goes to show you that, as far as concerned, they don't know what the fuck they want. They don't. And they keep, for now, for a time and time again, they keep pushing. We need this wrestling aspect. No. I think the only people that can get away with the wrestling aspect theme is CEO because that's what it's themed at, under. So I can understand that. You know what I mean? But overall, we need these personalities. No, you don't. You don't. If you're acting like something you're not, and we see, look, I point this, you see it all the time in music too. You have entertainers, but mind you, they're entertainers for a reason. These are gamers who have been thrown under the bus so many fucking times, who sit in their house for 10 hours a fucking day playing a game, and told that they ain't gonna be shit. Now you want them to be more than what they are. You don't accept them for what they fucking are. Now they gotta be more. Because it's not enough for you to say, hey, we can sell this. That's fucking ridiculous. You know it and I know it. Never give him, like I said, don't want to give him credit. Yeah, he's a good player, but that entertainment factor is missing. Well, he's sitting there concentrating on the fucking game. What do you want him to do? He's supposed to. But no, y'all want promos and cuts and talks and all this. Look, it's all in good fun when you're friends and all and you're doing all this type of stuff, because y'all know each other. But, nah, man, nah. Y'all trying to make it more than what it is. And you're asking people to not be themselves. Like, that should be the biggest disrespect of it all. I don't like you. I don't like your personality. Be someone else. And yet event scrubs greenlit this article. Yet we have people who agree with this bullshit. When is this going to be called out? Because that's what it comes down to. At the end of the day, they're telling you they don't like your personality. Be something different. The same thing that brought us together to be gamers, now they're telling you that you're still not good enough. Okay. Let's move on. Street Fighter V Arcade Edition discs will include DLC codes. Okay. Now, here's the thing. It's a countdown before someone says, well, I didn't get my code. There's always a countdown for it. You know what I mean? And I want you to look at the comment section that is going on. I want you to see how gamers are reacting in the comment section to this article. I can't even disagree with this. As you see, they're calling Capcom lazy. They're saying, I'll put the article in the description field so you can actually scroll through the comments yourself if you want to and look at them. It's amazing to see how many people are just like, you know what? Just got no choice. You know what I mean? Got no choice. Just deal with it. And you shouldn't become submissive like that. And then you have other people who are very upset with Capcom. You're lazy. This should have been dealt with a long time ago. This is what you're doing. Like, people are upset. And you know what? Given these people who have supported this game from here on out. Now, granted, if you bought the game from before and you're buying the season passes, which, once again, season passes, the update is free or whatever. Look, the fact is, Capcom said, and this is always the loophole that I'm seeing these days when they announce this, okay? Capcom said they weren't going to make another edition of this. You weren't going to need another edition of this. And in the loophole for this is, well, you really don't need to go out and buy another edition. It's a free update, so technically you're not buying anything new. Stop. The fact is, you have to understand that the way they've gone about things, this takes precedence. It's about announcing a new version. That's what it's about, okay? Capcom didn't need to announce an arcade version. They could have made all these fixes and all this stuff without announcing an arcade version. That's what people are trying to get at here, okay? That's what you could have did. But instead, this is what they're doing, and now they're trying to rebrand it to try and get later adopters of this game. So if you didn't buy all the other versions, other version. I'm so tempted to say that Ultra Street Fighter 4 is damn near another version. But as we know, that's how they've gone with Street Fighter 4 up to Street Fighter 5. Because that was just a placeholder. Let's be real here. Ultra Street Fighter 4 was a placeholder. Alright? But it's one of those things where if you haven't bought the game yet, this is the incentive to buy the game. You know what I mean? And while Capcom, people say, that's a good marketing strategy for Capcom, you have to understand that, remember, before all this, before Street Fighter V was made, Capcom didn't have the money to make Street Fighter V. Sony had to help them. Do you remember this? Okay. So that's what this is. This is about trying to get you for your money. That's what it is. Now, people are saying that, arcade, you're seeing all these new things, but they're still not satisfied with what they're doing. And you know what? That's fine if you're not satisfied with it. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. But you also have to understand that within Capcom, that these type of things with Capcom, they have a history of doing this time and time again. And as far as I'm concerned, this is something that it should be unacceptable. It should be. But I understand for later adopters. You remember, Arcade Edition, people say, oh, well, the Arcade Edition, and remember, later adopters want the Arcade Edition only for later to have to get Ultra Street Fighter 4. So it's one of those things where, of course, as a consumer, you have the choice whether to buy it or whether not to. But when we talk about the peer pressure of buying said game, as we see a lot these days, you got to get the newest version to keep up. You don't want to buy the newest version. Oh, well, then you're going to be lost. You're just going to be old. You're going to be outdated. What's the point of even talking to you? We've seen this time and time again. So it becomes a problem. It does. And it seems like a lot of people don't understand it. I understand within my rambling, you're probably saying, what is it talking about? No, pay attention. Pay attention to what I'm saying. Okay? It's one of those things, man. And it's not cool at all. Not at all. So, yeah, I'm not for Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Capcom could have easily did this without making another edition. Like I said, again, it's a money factor for Capcom. It's a company money factor for Capcom. You notice everything I've shown you so far today, or talked about today, like I said, the stuff will be in the description field. It's one of those things where companies just don't care, man. Especially companies like Capcom. They don't care. Yet they still have fans who cling on to them and still defend them at every twisted turn. I don't get it. Let's move on, shall we? in some news, which I don't know was fake or not, didn't seem really real, but whatever. All right, I don't even think it's that much of a non-factor, but I guess we should talk about it. Ex-girlfriend gets last laugh getting guy's 10-year-old Xbox Live account banned. I don't see why people are this petty. I mean, granted, it doesn't go into detail on why they broke up, but apparently she wanted to get back at him. And he's upset. And the article talks about how this should never happen. It shouldn't, but people are crazy. People are stupid. Like, that's all I really have to say about it. That's really all I have to say about it. I do. I mean, it's a non-factor. I think that she should be ashamed of herself for even attempting it if this is real. But, whatever. Let's move on. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, let's just keep it going. All right. So, Homefront. I want to talk about Homefront because I tried to tell y'all years ago. Homefront, you know, the Revolution, the one that came here to Philadelphia and they wanted to shoot for Philadelphia and they wanted to make sure it's Philly pride and all this other bullshit. I told you it wasn't going to sell. I told you it wasn't. I told you it was cash grab. I told you, with the history of these developers who have a horrible history of making games, nobody would buy this shit. I told you that. And what happened not too long ago? Square Enix decided that, you know, the Goliath edition, the biggest pack they had to be liquidated. $140 to $25. And I'm still not going to get it. I'm still not going to. 80% off. Liquidation. That's what that is. You can't tell me it's not at this point. It's crazy that 80% off. I told you before, this game was not going to sell. People in Philly from Philly, no. Gamers were just like, we good. I'm sure there's some people out there who were stupid enough to, support it because Philly. But majority, no. And I knew this is how it was going to go. So again, everything I'm telling you, whether you're mad at me or not today, or for years ago, you're still mad at me. I haven't been wrong. It's amazing how still people will find, maybe out of 100, minute, video, or an hour video, or whatever, how many minutes video, they will always chop up the 30 seconds to a minute to 2 minutes and be like, this guy's stupid. That's what they do. It's a desperate reach, as opposed to, 8 years I've been here predicting shit and been right? Yeah. Like I said, man, y'all will find any reason to try and knock me down. But, again, I let the proof show. The results are there. So I just find it funny. Again, Homefront, trash. Absolute trash. I can't believe people thought that was going to sell. Let's move on about selling more things, shall we? Sony. That's right. Sony to publish Switch and PC games under new label. Now, I don't really care about the label, alright, to be honest. But I'm wondering if this is an indication that now Sony is starting to loosen up on the whole cross-play aspect of things. I'm just wondering. Or are they really just saying, look, we're going to help you guys out because we have so much money so that you can, be successful. Because remember, just not too long ago, a couple years ago, we had these console wars that people, for some reason, still try to keep going. And it was just a fight, constant fight. And it became so nasty with these fights that people were out losing out on money. Because this game isn't like this game, or I'm not buying this game because it's exclusive to this console, or I don't like this console because such and such, and if you have said console, then you're an asshole, and blah, blah. We saw all that. And none of it made sense, and all of it was simply immature. Like I said before, gamer's game. No matter where you're going to play it on, whether it's Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony, Atari, whatever. Go back to the old days, in television, PC, it doesn't matter. 3DO, Jaguar, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, you were the TurboGrafx 16, it didn't matter where you played, you were just going to play a game because you liked games and that was it. And for some reason, this big division, it really started online. Because, a lot of people like to talk about the, back in the day, Nintendo versus Genesis and the console wars, but it was never this rabid. Ever. You know what I mean? Kids may say something, but hey, you want to come over to my house and play Genesis? Yeah, sure. It was never, no, I'm not going to play this. You're a scumbag for that. No, it was never that. It was never that. And we see that online a lot, especially these days from adults. Can you even call them adults? I don't know. But maybe this is a way of like I said, of Sony, trying to loosen up on the crossplay because Microsoft was like, hey, we're game for crossplay. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why this hasn't been a big thing. We've been talking about crossplay for years. And then we saw the excuses Sony came out was like, we want to ensure quality to our consumer base. Don't give me that crap. You want to ensure quality to your consumer base, then fix PlayStation, fix your online. How about that? You know, the one that keeps going down, or the one that keeps getting hacked, or whatever the case may be. Why don't you fix that? If you want to assure quality, since people are paying for it. It's not about crossplay, because people love crossplay. It will settle a lot of things. But hey, whatever. Speaking of settling things, I want to talk about one Gundam Versus real quick. I know you say Gundam Versus again. Yeah, because you know I did a standalone video not too long ago with the challenge. But for those who don't know, another article came out not too long ago from Giant Bomb, or should I say a video came out, where they, again, insult the fan base for playing the game. They're nothing but a bunch of weeaboos. Stop. Stop. If this is how you have to conduct yourself while reviewing a game that you may or may not like, then you're unprofessional. It's just that simple. There's no reason for it. The fan base hasn't done anything to you. Yet for some reason, you're all getting in line to take shots at the fan base. So again, my challenge, my door is open to the people of Giant Bomb. Anytime you want to play, let me know. Because I'm still waiting for a response from Kotaku and, what was it, WCFCC or whatever. I've called them out on Twitter how many times? Let's play. Because that's what we do. We play. And as I said, it's gotten to a point now where we can have the war of words back and forth. But that's not going to solve anything because one is always going to be right and the other one's going to say, well, that's just your opinion. Hello, hip-hop gamer. Even though you're wrong. You know what I mean? But that's not enough. It's not enough these days. So if we're gamers, let's get back to what we do. We game. We challenge. We play. That's what we do. So, gaming journalists, it's time that you put up or shut up. It is. Because it's one thing that, if the game's not your cup of tea, that's fine. If you don't like it, that's fine. I'm not getting on you for that if you don't like the game because it doesn't cater to what you feel, that your play style that you like or something that, you will just give it a chance and you just were disappointed in it. That's fine. That's fine. But when you start going off the cuff, going out of bounds, and you start bagging on fan bases and franchises for, oh, I can't believe you all bought this game and you'll buy anything and all that. When you start going off like that, you've clearly walked off the ledge and now you've gone into a zone that's so unprofessional that technically you should lose your job for. There's no reason for it. But I forgot, these media outlets, again, they won't denounce these pedophiles, they won't denounce these sexual harassers, these rapists, but, so yeah, if they're not going to denounce them, then why would they denounce, people, taking shots at fan bases? It's this simple. If you're not going to play people, shut up. About the fan bases. That's what I mean. If you're not going to play people. Because that's what it is. No one gives a shit about your opinion on the fan base if you're not active. No one cares. So, your article goes for nothing. It's shit. Now, when you're ready to play, you let me know. Since it's 3 of you now, because last time I said 2-on-2, didn't I? I said a partner of my choosing. But now that we have 3 sites that are, that are in conjunction with this, because y'all was lining up dog pile teams, because, yeah, the excuses are all the same, it seems. There's no the story mode, the single player mode. Shut up. Shut up. It's an arcade brawler. Alright? Shut up. But, since it's 3 of you now, how about we get 3-on-3 going? The 3 of you, let's see, writer from Kotaku, WCFCC or whatever, and Giant Bomb against me and 2 partners of my choosing. If you're not going to put up, then I don't want to hear this anymore. Like I said, every time that the game media does this, I will call them on it. I will challenge them if I need to. We will see what happens. Of course they're going to duck because that's what they do best. They just want to be heard and run with the tail between their legs. But like I said, as gamers, start challenging them. It's the only way, because that's what gaming is about. So do it. Do it. Do it. Speaking of more challenging things, last bit of news, we'll talk about Overwatch. All right, as we know, the updates have happened, the nerfs have happened, and all this other stuff. I just want to talk about Mercy real quick. I really do, because I'm really going to miss the 5-man res. I am going to miss that. I know you got Valkyrie, and you can fly around, you can shoot, blah, 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 blah. But the cooldown for this, let's talk about it. Gets the resurrection cooldown nerf. I'm really going to miss it due to the fact that I really enjoyed the fact that, there's been a lot of times we've played, And, you know, you're right there, you're at the end of a payload or whatever, and everyone's shut down, and just fly and just heroes never die. And then everyone's like, yes! And we all fight again. And it brought a great amount of excitement and fun to the game. Now that you're able to res, you know what I mean? And there's a slight cooldown. And then you have this Valkyrie where she's just like, hey, come get some. I understand you want to give her some offensive capabilities, but you really didn't even need to give her Valkyrie, to be honest. You could have just made her gun stronger. You could have just did that. But you didn't do that. And so for people who was complaining before, when I had said before, I remember we would chat about this and saying, maybe she needs to have, her offense needs to be more, and, her gun, and they would say, her pistol, and they would say, oh, that would make her too OP. That would make her too OP. Well, what do you think this is? What do you think this is? Like, seriously. Has anyone seen what people have done already with Mercy? Have you seen the play of the game? Mercy, Valkyrie, flying by, cap, just capping everybody, play of the game. Like, wow, like, just, yeah, man, it's, I don't know. And it's also some nerfs to Lucio got changes, and y'all already, I don't think I need to, people who've talked to me about Lucio, you already know how I feel about Lucio. Fuck Lucio. But, yeah, it's one of those things. Yeah, just keep skating around, trying to push people off the edge. Keep doing that, yeah. Not worth shit. It ain't worth a damn thing. Maybe it's just because I've had that many Lucio players, good Lucio players around me, but, yeah, I don't know. It ain't worth a damn thing. Team getting slaughtered, you want to skate around. What are you doing? You're not helping anybody. So, yeah. Anyways, final thoughts. Today, disgusting. Very disgusting. Very disappointed. A lot of gaming journalists, the track record, history, sexual harassment. Just don't do it. Stop doing it. What's wrong with y'all? What's wrong with you? That you can't stop and keep your hands off women. What's wrong with you? It's one thing if there's some type of consent, but you serious? Are you serious? Yeah. Companies. Yeah. Fuck you. That's how I feel. Fuck you. Alright? You've changed the landscape of how we played games, and now you're just doing it as this big money trap. Seriously. And it's not just a money trap, it's also to keep people addicted. We talked about this not too long ago, about kids being, brought into this, and the addictions of video games, and how there's online gambling and stuff like that. Like, there's a problem. We saw that with Capcom. Remember when they tried to do that? I specifically showed you that. So, yes, I have a problem with it. I do. The companies are trying to they're trying to get you to be addicts. Some of you already are addicts. That's why it's hard to reach some of you. You're so set in your ways that you think that people jumping up and acting a fool and pushing each other and fighting over video games is cool. It's not cool. It's not. But these are the people who sit at home and don't have to worry about these things. They'd rather see somebody else, do it because they're the one in potential danger and potential harm. It's okay for them. Besides, they're also telling you, once again, they don't like your personality. They don't like you for you. That's disgusting, man. I don't know how people didn't see that. And yet, they come out in droves and come after me and defend it, towards me. It's like, dude, you just can't be yourself? Now, if you're an asshole by nature, well, then guess what? Then you're going to get what you're going to deserve eventually. All right? But if you're telling me you're putting on this act because you need to be famous, then you're in gaming for all the wrong fucking reasons. All the wrong reasons. Jesus Christ. You can't just have a good community and just have fun. And like, for example, not too long ago, we just saw Smash players. It was on Twitter. They called each other out on it. Two Smash players were sitting right next to each other at a convention waiting to play, and they're talking to each other via Twitter. Next to each other, not saying nothing to each other, talking to each other via Twitter. Because they got to keep with those personalities. When it comes to being social with others, it goes to show you that there's a huge disconnection. And now people are going to be something that they're not on social media, so that they, that people think this is how they really are. So they look like almost like fucking action heroes. Y'all been watching way too many movies. Y'all been watching way too much wrestling. And this bubble of a world that you're in, you have to realize that it's not real. You understand it, right? It's not real. You have to understand that when we were in arcade times, there wasn't this pretend bubble. Like, no, you were amongst everyone. There was people who just didn't like you, all right? Even if you've done nothing to them, they just didn't fucking like you, all right? Because of who you are, and they just had to deal with it. You know what I mean? It was going to get dealt with one way or another. or you just kept quiet to yourselves and you just played games. Either way, but you didn't actively go out your way to try and get after somebody. You go after somebody. You didn't do that actively. That was stupid. It's not cool. And I'll put it like this. It doesn't make you a hard ass. It doesn't make you a badass. It doesn't. If you have to actively go after somebody simply because, well, they played a game I play, and they beat me, so now I'm mad. That has to be the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Dumbest shit ever. Unreal. Like I said, all these people pretend to be badasses, but then when you get in their face, hold it, I don't want any problems, I don't want any problems, no, I'm going to block you, I'm going to do this. But you're supposed to be the hard ass. You're supposed to be the guy who doesn't miss the I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Acting, it's a joke. Acting for video games. That's what we do now. It's almost on par for what the E-League has done. We've seen that, you know, that Craigslist ad, whatever ad they put out, because they needed extras. They needed actors to come out and cheer the players to make it more exciting. Because you couldn't find actual gamers to sit and watch this shit. You gotta yell. We get ready to come back from a commercial break. Start yelling. It's just like any other fucking game show, where they get the audience to applaud at a certain point. When they're coming back from commercial. Nothing different. Nothing new. If you don't realize all this stuff, the way you're being hustled, the illusion that's been thrown out there, and you think that this is real. This is why I don't like a lot of communities these days, man. You can't even have an honest talk with somebody because they got to put on a front. They got to act a certain way. Get the fuck out of here, man. We're here to play games and have fun. You don't like that, fuck you. If you don't like my attitude, fuck you. You don't like my personality, fuck you. That's a true someone who don't give a fuck right there. I'm not going to put on a front or be someone I'm not just to please you. Get the fuck out of here, man. Anyways, I'll talk to y'all later. Y'all be safe. Go ahead and game. If people give you shit, you know how it go. All right? Y'all have fun. Y'all be safe. I'll talk to y'all then. I'm out.